The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I must tell the Olam this incredible story, only because I heard the story this morning from the person it happened to, and this has got absolutely nothing to do with anything, but who cares? Because it's an amazing story. It's just an amazing story. The story goes like this, okay? A fellow came to see me today. A boy, a man, that I was in yeshiva with over 20 years ago. I haven't seen him for 20 years. It was a big simcha to see him. He'd have shachos with us here this morning, if you saw. At the back, he saw the side of the back. So I haven't seen him literally for 20 years. In fact, when I saw him when he came in, I have no idea who he was. I went over to him and said, Shalom Aleichem, what's the name? And I'm like, whoa! He told me he was coming, but didn't tell me when. Anyway, amazing to see someone that I haven't seen for 20 years. We were in yeshiva together. Amazing. Anyway, the point was like this. He sits down with me during breakfast, and he tells me this story. He was telling me a story about how his life developed, generally getting to the idea of Hashgacha Pratis and how the Rabbi runs our life. And I think maybe this is such a beautiful idea, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Seis Tshuva, to think about how the Rabbi runs our lives, how the Rabbi controls everything that we do and everything that happens to us. To cut a very long story a little bit short and more negate to what we are, or get to the crunch, he was learning in Kollel, and for whatever reason he had to go to make it more of a parnosa for the family, and he decided he wanted to do something that would be relevant and something that would always be in demand. So he became a nurse. He wanted to do something in the medical field, whatever. And that's what he was doing, so it means he had a lot of training in medical things. This was not long ago. He lives in America, in New Jersey. Anyway, so the point is like this. About 3 years ago, this story happened. He was in a place where they had a pool, with a gate around the pool. And they had a great time, the kids were in the pool, everything was wonderful. He was there with another family as well. They got out, they got everyone out the pool, made sure no one was there. They locked the gate, okay, secure, everything was good. Baruch Hashem. And they continued doing whatever they were doing, whether it was a barbecue, whatever, supper, irrelevant. The ball that they were playing with, which was outside the gate, I guess managed to get back inside, or maybe there was a dog that got run over, whatever it was, and fell into the pool. And one of his children, who was 3 years old at the time, saw the ball in the pool and was like, I need to take the ball out the pool. So wanted to get in to the pool area. Tried the gate was locked. However, something that no one realized was that one of the bars of the gate was broken. And this child managed to open up the bar, like he pushed it, I guess. It was strong enough, or it wasn't, it was loose enough, whatever. And he got through, and he tried to get the ball. A few minutes later, he was in the pool. His friend, who was again 3 years old, saw this happen. He was the only one that saw it happen, and started to come inside and saying, Chaim needs help, we have to save Chaim. What are you talking about? No one had a clue. We saw the 3-year-old child saying we have to save Chaim. Like, what's going on? Everything's fine, don't worry about it, chill out, just go and eat some more chips, whatever, Until they realized, maybe there's something more to what he's saying. They ran outside, and they found the boy at the bottom of the pool. They dived in. This man, the father of the boy, said to me that instead of a parent instinct, what kicked in was his medical knowledge instinct, and he started to do what needed to be done. Complete nisim v'niflois chazdei Hashem, he managed to get the breathing going, a pulse going, and by the time Hatzalah came, which was literally, he said, within 60 to 120 seconds later, then the whole Maisa happened, they're able to rush him to the hospital, and Baruch Hashem, he's alive and well. But he did say that at the time, I don't know if anyone remembers, 3 years ago, there were many stories of kids falling in pools and dying. And in fact, in that hospital where he was, the surgeon, in fact, there was a trauma expert that came in, who was a From Yid, who wasn't even his shift. He happened to have been there because he was filling in for somebody else. From Yid walked in, because when a person had CPR, they had to have trauma, making sure everything's okay. The From Yid walks in, and he started to cry. And he said to the father, this is the first one and the only one that we've seen like this. Because unfortunately, we normally get them at a different stage. And the father told me this morning, and he said, how the Rabbi Shalom set up that short time before that he needed to go to work and he needed to choose something, and he chose that, and he was there at that time, and that saved his son's life. Now that's an amazing story. Wow, it shook me. But we should take that and understand that maybe, Baruch Hashem, we don't have to ever go through that. We should never go through that. And no one should ever go through that. But we should realize that the Rabbi Hashem runs our lives. And we don't even see it sometimes. We don't see how, even in the small things, the Rabbi Hashem runs every bit of our lives. And sometimes when we step back and we look at the greatest picture, and we see that, wow, the Rabbi Hashem, he runs everything. And we never understood why that happened, but now we understand why it happens. How many boys have told me how they got to this yeshiva was because they met someone who knew the yeshiva, and because of that, like, everything runs in a way that we don't understand it. And sometimes we don't have the opportunity to stop and think about how our lives are what they are because of the Rabboni Shalom, and how much we have to thank Hashem for everything that we have. This is the time, Rosh Hashanah, Seisim B'Tshuvah, Yom Kippur, this is the time that we stop and we make a little bit of inspection into our lives. Who gave us everything? Who gives us everything? Who's going to continue? Who do we owe everything to? The Rabboni Shalom. And we should stop and think. We should do this every day, halavai.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org